everyone. This is Denecia, your host at Soulwell Business. Thank you for visiting our show today. And today we're going to have a special guest, someone who has been in the accounting arena for some time, who will share the updates with the taxes. A little bit about the background of our guest. He has been an accountant, CPA specifically, for 17 years. He is a specialist at tax planning, tax strategy, consulting. He's owned his firm for some time now, and he works with entrepreneurs, business owners, as well as consultants and investors. Let's welcome Vahan Papyan of RSVP, CPAs, and advisors. Hi, Vahan.
Hi, Denecia. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the warm introduction, and it's a pleasure to join you. Thank you. It's an honor. So I look forward to our conversation.
Great. Thank you so much. So tell us a little bit about your background. What got you into accounting and all that great jazz?
Yeah. So somehow I ended up in accounting about 17 years ago. I've been a CPA, and I like working with different people and businesses and helping them. So that was kind of one of the big motivations for me to be in accounting. There's a lot we can help from the numbers standpoint, and I specialize in taxation, as you mentioned, and there's a lot we can do to optimize tax strategy and generate a lot of tax savings. And as CPAs, we approach clients from a holistic standpoint, where their well-being, financial well-being, and success is really important for us. So I consult my clients on a variety of issues, not just taxes. Taxes only just one part of it. So overall, we help our clients to be successful with their businesses, and we also provide accounting and tax services and some financial planning.
Nice. What was your background before accounting?
I studied finance. I got a bachelor's degree in finance, and then I did an MBA degree in finance. So kind of my first job was in accounting. I was in a private company first. I was working for a real estate developer, and I figured, usually accounting is kind of on the back office, and many people don't realize that really, even though accounting is kind of a back office function, it's very critical to the business's success, and how we account for all the numbers, and there's financial statements, and financial statements are a critical piece of information, both for the business owner, the management, and even the banks and investors that work with the company. So, and how you interpret those numbers. So I figured it's really a critical function where I can be very helpful to this business owner I was working for. And then at some point I realized, since I really like this, I can do it for more businesses and more clients at the same time. So, and that was the natural next step to join a CPA firm where I had that opportunity. And I did work with different types of firms, small, mid-size, and large. I've worked with companies from startup all the way to a few $100 million in revenue. So I've seen kind of that growth that companies experience. And I've seen a variety of situations. And kind of my goal is to figure out what the client needs, what the person or the business needs, and really help them reach that goal, whether it's from tax standpoint or financials or accounting.
Nice. It's so nice to know why someone's gone into a particular business and what their passions are and how they actually help the clients. Yeah, with everything that's going on with coronavirus right now, I would love to get some insight from you on how our viewers can prepare, because there's just so many changes that are happening. Can you share a little bit about that?
Of course, happy to. It's weird times, kind of interesting. It's scary, and at the same time, we have this odd opportunity, to be home and maybe spend more time with the family. But it comes with a lot of challenges because, if you're able to work from home, you still have to get some work done. And but at the same time, we have to worry about our health, but also all these new information that's coming at us. The stimulus package and all the tax law changes. The government is trying to help, people and businesses to survive these difficult times. And so a lot of information came out in the last couple of weeks. It's coming up, every day something new, and we're trying to absorb it. So some of the main things I want to share about is, of course, the most popular one is the government is going to send stimulus checks, kind of rebates. Those are kind of credits that we're going to claim on next year's taxes, but they're sending it now because we need, the people need the money now, so they're going to mail those checks. Or if the IRS has your bank account, they'll just deposit the money there, and each person will get $1,200. For married couples, it's going to be $2,400, and for kids dependents, they're going to give $500 each. So it's possible that a family gets anywhere from $1,200 to a few $1,000s. There's some limitations on income. Mostly people with less than $75,000 in income, or for couples less than $150,000 in income, they will get the full amount. And there's a phase out, and then above certain amount, above $200,000 for couples, for example, it phases out. So they're really kind of trying to help lower income families, or lower middle class, lower income. Some of the really low income ones may get small amounts. It's kind of counterintuitive. They may get like $600 per person. It depends on their situation and the actual tax return. It's going to be based on the 2018 return, 2019 if it's filed, and if not, 2018.
Okay.
And by the way, there were talks that if those people who did not file returns, the IRS was encouraging to file as soon as possible, so they have the info. And something just came out today that I was talking to an IRS person yesterday, and we were worried that if they want all the seniors who usually don't file tax returns, they just receive Social Security, file a return to get this, it wouldn't be practical. So I just got some good news today that they most likely are going to waive that. So some of the seniors out there may just get their checks, and everybody else who did file an 18 or 19 return and their income is less than the threshold, they will automatically get the money. They don't have to do anything extra. Before going to businesses, I wanted to share a couple of good tips also for individuals, because some of the business owners also, for some pass-through businesses, the taxes are paid on the individual level, so a lot of it is applicable as individuals. But a couple of things not related to businesses is, if people really need some money now and they have a retirement account, they can pull out about $100,000 up to COVID-related hardship, and use it. And typically, the government charges 10% penalty for taking early distributions. Now they waived it, and so you don't have to pay penalty, and you recognize the income over 3 years. So they kind of really help you out if someone needs some money out of their retirement accounts now.
So you can take out from now to 3 years without a 10% penalty?
If you take out this year, I think, I'm not sure if there's a certain date by which, or it could be the whole 2020.
Okay.
Then your penalty is waived, and then you pick up the income over 3 years. Otherwise, usually you just pick up the income, all of it in the same year. So they give you kind of leeway to just pay it over 3 years, which kind of minimizes your taxes, right? And a couple other smaller things, if you typically to claim charitable deductions, you have to itemize, but now they're allowing up to $300 deduction, even if you do not itemize. So this kind of encourages a lot of people to make that even, the small, even a $50, $10 helps. to those nonprofits. So now the government allows you to deduct up to $300, even if you do not itemize. So I thought that was a nice thing.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need it right now. Nonprofits are
Yeah.
in the house right now, so that's a good thing that they thought about that before.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there are more stuff there, but let's talk about businesses, because businesses are really, I mean, everybody is affected, but businesses have some more pressure there because they have all these employees, they have the overhead, and to stay afloat, it's really difficult. Some of the businesses had to shut down their doors, so it's really, really difficult out there. Now, some of the really good things that came out, there's some kind of payroll tax credit. So there's some loans, we'll talk about the loans in a second. There are payroll credits, and there are different types of payroll credits. So if a business had to pay someone who got sick, or if they're taking care of a sick family member, or if their child's school is closed and they have to stay home and look after the children, they cannot work from home, basically. If the employer, the business, pays them either sick time or paid family leave time, they can get a $1 credit for that amount from their payroll taxes. So it's kind of the government paying through businesses. But that helps the business to retain the employees instead of letting them go. So that's one great thing. There's another one, if the business is really affected, if they had to close the doors, or if their revenue is going to be 50% of what it was in the same quarter of last year, right? So if they have a significant drop in revenue, they can get 50% of their payroll taxes as a credit. There are some limits, and there's a lot of details I'm not touching now. This is just kind of really high level, but there's an opportunity to get up to $10,000 credit per employee for this year. So that's really another generous payroll tax credit out there. And on top of it, they can have a payroll deferral, or it could be mutually exclusive benefits. I'm not sure yet, but another benefit is they can defer their payroll taxes. That instead of paying now, they can pay half of it next year and half of it, the following year. So this also helps the business retain more money in. So those are some payroll benefits. There are other interesting benefits out there. If a lot of businesses are down, they'll probably have losses for the year. So in 2018 tax reform, they stopped allowing most businesses to carry back their losses. So you only could carry forward. Now they're saying you can go back, and if you had a loss in 18, or 19, or if you have a loss in 20, you can carry back for 5 years. So if you paid tax 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, you can carry back those losses and claim some refunds. So this is a really important one. For some of the businesses, if they had a loss last year, they could not carry it back. But right now they can carry back and get some refunds from previous years. That's really another nice tax break out there.
Not bad. Yeah, it's definitely going to help. Anything going on with the loans? Like what's happening? That's a big deal right now, the SBA loans.
Yeah, hot topic. There's a lot of confusion there. There are two main types of loans, right? One is a disaster loan. The other one is for payroll protection. And each is a unique and separate loan from each other. But so you could apply for both loans, but I'll tell you a little bit about each one. So for the disaster loan, it's more of a full doc loan where above certain amounts, you have to put a personal guarantee and a collateral, and provide them with financial statements and personal financials and a profit and loss statement. And it's kind of a full process. However, to accelerate the benefit, they give $10,000 within 3 business days. You can get $10,000 upfront as an advance. Now they're saying if you don't qualify for the loan at the end, they won't take the $10,000 back. So it kind of could become a grant. However, it's most likely they would qualify, they would kind of approve some amount of loan. So it really kind of would be a loan. So it's hard to know. There's a lot of confusion. We don't know yet exactly how it's going to work out.
Yeah, it's so new. I mean, like within the
Yeah.
past week or two, they created it. It's gonna.
I spoke with 5-6 bankers in the last few days, and all of them are trying to figure out and waiting for guidance from SBA. And they're saying, disaster loan, you can actually apply with the SBA directly through their website. So let me tell you a little bit about the other loan and then how they interact. So the other loan is payroll protection program loan. So it's really intended for payroll protection. You can qualify for an amount that's going to be based on your average payroll for the last 12 months. So if your average payroll was $10,000 for the last 12 months, you can get 2.5 times of that amount. So say if your payroll was 10,000, you get 25, and so on. And there is a limit. I don't remember what they were saying, 10 million, I think, but it's first come, first served basis, and there's so many applicants, so we don't know. They're encouraging businesses to apply as soon as possible, and the banks are saying they're going to be ready to process applications either tomorrow or early next week. The great thing about the PPP loan is if you use it for payroll, 75% of it for payroll, and the rest for rent, utilities. Those are some of the covered expenses. And if the business has a mortgage, if you use the money to pay those, as long as you use 75% of it for for payroll purposes, then you're going to get a forgiveness. So at the end, basically, that loan will be forgiven if used for that purpose. So this is a great opportunity for businesses to be able to keep the employees. And the goal is to keep the employees. So you have to maintain the same level of payroll. If you let people go, the forgiveness amount will go down. But they're letting you, if some businesses already had to let employees go, if you rehire them, then you get a chance to get that forgiveness. So these are really great loans. They're saying you could apply for both at the same time. And if the disaster loan came out first, so a lot of businesses applied for it first. They're saying if you already have that loan, you still apply for the PPP. You can combine them into one loan, or if you keep them separate, at the end, they'll subtract. If you took advantage for that $10,000, they'll subtract it from the forgiveness amount. So which kind of puts you in the same position anyway. So if you apply to both loans, you would get more money as a loan to survive. Maybe we don't know how long this situation is going to continue.
Right. Yeah, we don't know. So that's amazing. Okay, well, I'm looking forward to getting my check in the mail. Like tomorrow, maybe? No. When's the checks coming in the mail? Should they be like a week or two, or?
I think they're saying early April.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess people can check their accounts within the next few weeks, or the mail. If they didn't give their account to the IRS, usually you would do a direct deposit or direct debit. If you didn't do that, then you'll get a check in the mail, which could take a little bit longer. Yeah. So but it's great. I mean, we got a nice government there trying to help out people and businesses.
I definitely agree. I mean, here yesterday I read an article from Mark Ridley, who's head of LA County, and he basically decided to go with the rent control freeze, and also the basically the halt on evictions, because he's just like, please just don't evict. We're not allowing any evictions for the month of April. We just need people to get it back to, get their selves back on track. There's no way that we could avoid this, and we need to make sure that we're holding down a house. So I'm very, very impressed with how the government has come together, no matter what political lines they're in, They just come together to make sure that being of service to us.
One of those situations where, like,
Yeah,
we're paying all these taxes, right?
right.
And this is when we see like how great it is, as a civilized country. And in this kind of situation, you realize, okay, we're paying these taxes. At least the government does something, using that tax money to help people. So
Yeah, yeah. So
some of the, most of the banks also allow you to defer mortgage payments. Some of the banks will defer it for like 3 months. Some of them may be shorter. So, if people are falling behind on their mortgage payments, they should talk to the mortgage company and try and see if they can defer those payments. Even health insurance companies, they're okay to wait for 3 months. If people are falling behind, and health insurance is a big expense for most people out there. An average family pays $1,500 to health insurance per month. So if you defer the mortgage, it kind of helps out, to survive for a few months until things get better.
yeah, and then any news on student loans and credit cards? Anything about that stuff too? Because I mean, we're in a country where our, sometimes the student loans are as much as a mortgage.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there's some good news for student loans. So if the company, if like the employer pays for the employee's loan, student loan, it's a small benefit relatively, but it's still a good amount. 5,250, I think, was the amount. It's kind of exempt from income. So basically, it's kind of a benefit an employee can get from the employer. Basically, if the employer just paid the employee $5,000, that would be income. It would be part of their W-2, and they would pay tax on it. But now for $5,000 that the government is giving a break, the company can pay their loan for $5,000, and there's no taxable income. So I mean, it's a small benefit. I know a lot of us out there with large student loans wish there's more help here, but I'm not sure. Maybe some of the loan companies are okay deferring some payments. It comes down to, for every individual, they need to assess their situation, and a business, they need to assess their situation and see which of those benefits they can take advantage of. It's quite some work. I get phone calls constantly from clients and friends, and everyone is trying to understand how, those benefits would apply for their situation.
Yeah, I'm sure you're getting a lot of questions right now. So I really do appreciate you coming and making some time to allow us to understand how this is all going to work in the future, and hopefully reduce some anxiety for for everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a
Yeah,
nice conversation, nice break from all the work.
yeah, absolutely. I know.
And I'm happy to educate. I like to educate and share the knowledge. So yeah, it's really a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. And so how do our viewers find you on social media and the web?
My company name is RSVP CPAs and Advisors Inc. And RSVP, like responde, s'il vous plaît.
Yeah, right. I like that. I like the name. It's really nice.
Thank you. So rsvpcpa.com is the website. Probably the easiest to remember. rsvpcpa.com. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook as well.
Exciting subject right now, where people are needing it the most. Thank you for being here. So, for our viewers, thank you so much for being here. And if you like this and want more tips and tricks on how to keep balance with business and wellness, please like us and share us with someone who might need us. And they'd be happy that you did. I see you. And until the next time we meet, be beautiful and be well.